Thanks, Sophie. Yeah, so like Sophie said, we're going to have some people up here, and typically when you hear the word panel, you think we're all up here at the same time and we're having a conversation. What we thought might be more valuable in this case, especially because there's a lot of us and we want to be quick with time, is to have each of us take a turn with just 3 minutes to tell you about the community that we represent. And how you might be able to get involved, or what we try to do for the Bay Area in general and for the entrepreneurial scene in general. So that's the way we're going to do it. And before I invite the first of the panelists up here to take his turn, I might ask you this. When you're at this event, this is a fantastic event and there's such a broad range of topics covered here. Are you meeting like-minded people? And if you're not exactly getting the help that you're needing, but you are meeting like-minded people, it might be a good opportunity to start your own thing. So for example, is there an AI and education group that gets together and talks about the kinds of things that we just heard about? I saw a lot of hands go up, and there wasn't enough time for everyone's questions to get asked. There's a mental health thing. There's sort of a constituency that I found in the audience so far. Yeah, so if there isn't the community for you yet, it might be a good opportunity to create one. And each of the people you're about to hear from was in that position and went ahead and did that, and it's been pretty productive for them. All right, so enough from me on that. First, we're going to hear from Asror, who is the co-founder at Silkroad Innovation Hub and is a Stanford MBA as well. So Asror, come on up. Let's give him a round of applause. Thanks. And your slide should pop up in a sec. There we go.
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Asror. I'm originally from Uzbekistan, and I love the idea of creating your community if you don't have one. So that's my story is about. Being from Uzbekistan and my co-founder being from Kazakhstan, about 2 years ago we thought of an idea, what Silicon Valley is all about. Thinking about all those communities like PayPal, ex-Googlers, going out and founding their own communities, helping each other. We thought Silicon Valley is truly about creating communities, helping each other. So there wasn't a community for founders from the region we represented, which is the Central Eurasia. The countries you see is Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, Tajikistan, Turkey, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. So we are a community space for founders from those countries. And without any financial model, without knowing where we're going, about 2 years ago, we founded a space at the heart of Palo Alto, which is called Silkroad Innovation Hub. We welcome founders, we welcome investors. So far, we've achieved wonderful results. We have 200 plus startups in our community. We have 17 portfolio startups. We write small checks. We are, if I can say, we are one of the fastest growing communities. Now we have 1,000 plus members, and we've signed partnerships with 35 plus partners here in Silicon Valley and both back at home. So everyone is in need of accessing Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is a hot place to be right now. So we want the best minds to be in Silicon Valley, to have access to Silicon Valley, and we're creating this welcoming community. If you're an investor, if you're a startup from those countries, but any country, and if you want to get involved, drop me a call or schedule a call or drop by our hub. We are open sometimes 24/7. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Asror. So next up, we have Patricia Liu, who I should say, I shared with her a slide deck from a startup I was advising, and in 10 minutes, she helped me to radically re-envision who the audience was for that pitch deck, what their intents were and what my intents were for the startup, and then the resulting message that needed to be crafted. And we went through it together in like 40 minutes, and it completely changed the startup's approach to how they try to raise money, and they've been much more successful since. So she does a lot of that kind of work and is pretty generous. I can't volunteer her time given how many people are in the room, but she's really, really good at that, and she helps to run MIT Angels. So Patricia, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Alec. I'm good.
Just one, so
yes, yeah. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Patricia Liu, and I am an angel investor, and I serve on the selection committee for MIT Angels. We're a group of about 500 angel investors, all MIT alumni. And we invest in early stage startups, primarily in deep science and deep tech. And our average investment is just under 200,000. We meet quarterly, and we invite the top 4 most voted companies, startups, to come and pitch. And that's out of about 50 submissions. And we do due diligence as a group, because usually there's at least a couple people in MIT Angels who has the expertise or did their PhD in that company's field, but we make our own individual investments. And I have, for the companies that pitch to MIT Angels, we offer assistance with their pitch decks, with also making introductions in the group's expertise. And I've included the QR code to MIT Angels, which includes information about our group and also the link to submit your pitch decks. And for our May meeting, the submission date is on April 1st. And then personally, I teach classes on startup pitch decks and presentations in the Stanford ecosystem at Stanford Continuing Studies and at Stanford Healthcare. And essentially, I'm teaching how to create exceptional presentations and pitch decks that investors easily and quickly understand, and more importantly, how to fundamentally think about pitching. So I work with early stage startups all the way through to Fortune 100 companies on their presentations and pitch decks. And I am a startup advisor with Harvard Business School Startup Partners, with Stanford Angels, and also NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center. I've included my QR code here if you would like to connect on LinkedIn. And I'll be around for the rest of the day if you have more questions or would like to find out more about MIT Angels, about what I do in my upcoming events. Thank you so much.
All right, wonderful. And let's see, next up we have Nabila from Stanford Entrepreneurs, which is another Stanford Alumni Association group. So come on up and give her a warm welcome, everybody. Do you need this? You have more than one. Okay.
Thank you so much, Alec. Hi, everyone. Sorry, you might be tired of seeing me, but this is the slide that we couldn't show you yesterday. Super excited to be here. Kudos to the amazing organizers. Hi again, my name is Nabila Lassar. I'm the co-president of Stanford Entrepreneurs and the founder of Impact Genius and director of the AI for Good Institute at Stanford. Yesterday, I shared that the one uniting factor of my diverse experiences were that I have been chasing impact my whole life. So let me tell you a little bit about, this is my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect or follow me. Stanford Entrepreneurs is a community of over 2,500 entrepreneurs and business leaders within Stanford University. The leadership team has recently changed. Our president, Joseph Pagotto, couldn't be here today, but I'm super excited to talk to you about the organization. Alongside Stanford Angels and Entrepreneurs, Stanford Entrepreneurs is an organization that empowers all business leaders and entrepreneurs within the Stanford network. So that includes small business owners, nonprofit leaders, and startup founders and investors. And with our new leadership team, we're super excited for all the programming we have in 2025. These include monthly webinars. So our purpose or our goal is to help empower the entrepreneurs within the Stanford ecosystem, to provide them with resources and a network and events to help them, if they're still employees, take that leap of faith and become entrepreneurs, and to connect them with investors if they're startup founders. So there are so many ways that you could get involved, and there are 2 categories. There are Stanford alumni who could join us right now. So this is the QR code. If you are an alum, please go ahead and just scan that right now and join the group on the Stanford Alumni Association portal. It's very simple. The second one is if you're just a community member, you live here, or you're flying back home soon. That second QR code is an interest form for anyone around the world to become part of our network. So you could join some of our online events, you could join some of our in-person events, you could also be a volunteer, or you could just stay engaged with the work that we're going to do. And what differentiates us as Stanford entrepreneurs is not just that we support every kind of founder. We all know that, for example, this event, I believe, is organized by a small business or potentially a nonprofit, right? Small businesses are the fabric that brings together everyone in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. Nonprofits are also essential and an essential part of the ecosystem that makes up like the business community. But we also believe that all businesses should be used as a force for social good. And I know I talked yesterday about how to embed impact strategy within your business strategy and why that's just better for business and better for everyone involved. The second community I want to talk to you about, you also didn't get to see that slide yesterday, it's Impact Genius. It's an org that I started about 7 or 8 months ago. And what we do is we hold an annual AI for Good Institute at Stanford University. We're going to take that around the world as well soon. It is a boot camp for aspiring entrepreneurs who want to learn how to start a startup from A to Z. Our curriculum has 3 pillars. The first is technical product development and the applications of cutting-edge technologies that you could apply in your business. So last year, this was, on the left is our teaching team, on the right is a few of our speakers. But we have a diverse group of speakers and trainers that help with the technical part of our curriculum. I lead the startup and business innovation part of the curriculum, which takes you from idea to MVP. We cover ideation, design thinking, idea validation, market, including value prop, go-to-market strategy, competitive advantage, and then finance and strategy. And the third pillar, which differentiates us, is impact, which includes what we talked about yesterday: impact strategy, ethical AI development, human-centered AI, and more. So on the right are some of the speakers we had last year. That's Peter Norvig. Mehran Sahami isn't here. It's the chair of the computer science department at Stanford, and a few others. The team is growing. So that QR code, please just scan that, fill out the form. We'd love to have you either as a participant or a mentor for our startup teams. And January 15th is the deadline to apply. The application process includes an application, an interview, just a screening interview, and then those who are admitted can join the institute this year. And Impact Genius has monthly events as well in Silicon Valley. On the left is our LinkedIn page. On the right is our newsletter. So please connect with us any way that you can. And when it comes to Stanford entrepreneurs, I just want to make sure everyone here has already scanned the QR code. Please do that. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
All right, cool. And I guess it's my turn. So let's see, there are a bunch of different alumni groups from the Stanford Alumni Association. I helped to start the Texas chapter of the Stanford Angels and Entrepreneurs. At the time, this was right before the pandemic. Texas was opaque, and investors based here with Stanford affiliation were like, hey, how do we get in touch? How do we make that scene less opaque? So that's what I helped to create. Then, of course, the pandemic hit, and lots of these groups started to work with each other because everything was online. And that's a good thing, and we've kept that up, but in-person events have, of course, picked back up too. So now there's this glut of different Stanford Angels and Entrepreneurs chapters, all figuring out how to work together to help foster the entrepreneurial ecosystem. If you scan this, it'll take you to your own email. That might be confusing. But if you scan this, it'll take you to your email with a email draft already prepared for you. Send it to yourself, because my assumption is you don't have time to read through all this information right now, but you can send yourself a reminder, and that way, when you check your own email from yourself, you can follow up. Or if you'd rather deal with it right now, then there's this one down here. So a little bit about how we work. We offer curated deal flow and ideas to investors. So if you're an investor and you want deal flow and you don't want to have to pay any carry, we're the nonprofit that can try to help you with that. And we're not limited just to Stanford affiliates. So if you want to get involved, there are lots of different ways to do that. We'll interview you, learn about what you care about, and then start sending you startup decks. You can decide if you want any introductions, and we'll broker them for you. If you're an entrepreneur, submit your deck, and we'll try to help you raise money. We don't take anything for doing that. In addition, you might be like, hey, I want an hour with a lawyer who knows about healthcare. Maybe we can find a volunteer to give you that time. Or I really am looking for a mentor in this area or an advisor to join our board in this area. Whatever it is, you can go to stanfordangels.org and you can apply for help there. But the information is also on this QR code. Yeah, so we're volunteer run. We don't take any carry. We do industry snapshots, so we try to find people who represent what's going on in an industry, who are defining the cutting edge, and then make that kind of expose that to everybody, so people can discover what are the startup opportunities there, or investors can figure out how to create a compelling strategy in that sector. We do education events, and then we're really lucky to be partnering with Bay Area Founders Club and other amazing entrepreneurial organizations that are helping to fill in these gaps when it comes to community creation and socialization of startups inside of the broader entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I have a little bit of time left. While I leave this up, I wanted to invite people in this room, if you are thinking about this event or other events you've been to, and you're wondering, what I really wished, this was great, but I want this, and I wish this had happened, or you have a certain thing that you're working on, and you wish that you were connected with more like-minded people in that sector, come talk to me after, and maybe I can help you figure out how you can start your thing, that connects that kind of person together in the Bay Area. There's a lot of that kind of energy, I think, at this event already. And I've already been in a few conversations like that with people. Oh man, we should get these people together who are each building software in this certain way to have dinner together. Well, cool, let's do it. Maybe I can help organize that. So come talk to me, and I'm happy to give you ideas or try to plug you in whatever ways I can. All right, so that's it for me, and I think that's it for this session. And so, we have one more. Awesome. Well, whoever we have next, please come on up. Is that you, Aishwana? Oh, Marianne, excuse me. All right. Marianne, thanks for joining. Here you go.
All right. I don't know if my slides are here, but it's all good. All right. Who here has heard about Founders Bay? Okay, awesome. So what are we? We're a community of 30,000 founders and VC here in the Bay Area. We host weekly events really to help promote entrepreneurship. And I wanted to give you some of our secrets on how we grew. So first off, right now, why is community important for founders? Because in the past, having your own, having a unique product is really what made your company. Think about all the Airbnb and Uber and Lyft. Those were really unique ideas that took technology to another level. But right now, writing a product or creating a product, the technology barrier is much lower than it used to be. So really what's going to differentiate you as an entrepreneur is your ability to distribute your product. And right now, at our fingertips, we have the most powerful tool in history, which is social media. And to grow social media and to grow your presence will allow you to build community. Community will allow you to grow even more on social media, and it's kind of a flywheel effect. And a year and a half ago, I did not have a large network. I was an engineering executive in the past. But now, in a year and a half, I went from 2,000 followers to over 50,000 followers across all of my channel. And I really did that by building community. And having a community behind you is your superpower, because not only do you have a distribution channel for your product, but also your community members are the one who are going to refer you to everything that all the opportunities that you need to really grow. The first step is start figuring out what your personal brand is, right? Who do you, in one sentence, what do you want people to remember you as? Because once you have that, once you have your one sentence of who you are as a person, the people will find you. So for me personally, I was always passionate about promoting women in tech. I spent my career being a tech executive, always being the only woman in the room. So the brand that I wanted to be was empowering women in tech and women founders. So after I figured out what my brand should be, then I figured out what is my ICP? Who are you targeting, right? For your startup, for your personal brand. For me, it was women founders and women in tech. Then I started looking at maybe 10 influencers who are popular in that segment, and I started seeing what type of content would they be creating, and also who their followers are. I started interacting with their posts, and slowly their followers started becoming my followers, and that set my social media strategy. Another thing that I did that a lot of people, I guess, don't do is a concept that I learned during engineering, which is A/B testing, which means that I would maybe A/B test 2 or 3 different type of content, and I would look at the engagement for that type of content, and then I would refine my strategy week by week. So once I started having a small following online, that's when I was ready to build my community. And there's multiple ways to build community. There's a lot of expensive tools out there. There's a lot of free tools out there. But if you're just starting out, literally what I did was I created a WhatsApp group. That's it. And I started inviting all the women founders that I knew of in the WhatsApp group, and that grew to over 600 people instantaneously. The second part of it, okay, now you have a place to put them. You can do WhatsApp, you can do Slack, you can even do LinkedIn group, Facebook groups, it doesn't really matter. The second part is to start throwing events. So we start throwing events in the city. I threw a small dinner at a restaurant. I didn't pay for the dinner. People paid for their own dinner. Literally, it cost me almost no money. And then 20 women showed up. But that dinner was so successful that then we could build upon that traction to start doing bigger events for 100, 200 people. And I paired up with different groups like Girls in Tech to fill out that event space. So that's the second way to build community. And the third way, so you have your events, you have your community, is then start using a platform where you can start putting your content there, or start creating like a newsletter or social media. So for my newsletter, I used Beehive, and then I started adding all the people in my community there, sending them weekly emails so that I'm fresh on their mind. But while doing all of that, while creating my women founders community, I realized that one of the reasons that women are left behind is because they don't have access to all the cool events. They're not in the circles, the founder and VC circles. So I'm like, okay, well, what if every week I start reporting on all of the events happening in the city, and I open it up to all founders out there. So now my newsletter grew to 32,000 subscribers. You can all subscribe to it. It's newsletter.foundersbay.com. And every week you're going to receive a list of all the founder and VC events happening so that you can join them. And now we are beyond only women founders. We have women, we have men, but we're all on the same mission to make tech more diverse. Because a question for you, right? Do you prefer to walk in a room where there's diversity, where there's women and men there, or do you prefer to walk in a room and there's only men there, right? 99% of the people want diversity. It's more fun that way. We want to have the whole world be represented where we are. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I build my community. Thank you for listening. And then again, newsletter.foundersbay.com if you want to receive a list of weekly events happening in the city. And thank you so much.
All right, so last but not least, we have Ash, who is a successful influencer who's going to talk a little bit about what she's up to. So welcome to the stage. Here you go. Oh, actually, let me do this so I can get you to that slide you want.
I think it's going back. So I don't have a slide, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. So okay, while they're figuring that out, it's still my first week at a startup. So I recently quit Microsoft and I've joined a startup called Fireworks AI. I'm leading their developer relations team and their startup VC ecosystem partnerships. So I'm a data scientist by profession. I used to work at IBM, then I worked for a few years at Google, and then at Microsoft. So I graduated from Columbia University with a master's in data science, and I absolutely loved being a data scientist. But if you ask me what was my mission, it was responsible use of AI. As a builder, I realized that it's very easy for you to get ahead of yourself and try to, get into the flow of like building really cool gadgets and really cool tech without realizing the implications of that on the society, of realizing what data are you using, what use cases can this really lead to. So that was my mission for starting to write about it, starting to write about the challenges, about the ethical issues, about really talking about toolkits that developers and data scientists and AI engineers can put in production. Because oftentimes when it comes to responsible AI, we often hear people talk about policy and governance and biases and other like ethical components of it, but not a lot of people are talking about how do I put it in practice. So that became my mission. I started writing about it, researching about it, and I grew my followership to 500,000. I also have a newsletter which caters to about 160,000 people, where I also talk a lot about like startup use cases, how they are building certain tech stack, and my personal motivation to was also like build a community where we learn from industry experiences, from very like it's such a small group of people who are sort of driving that bleeding edge of AI that we see in the world, and we see a majority of people just feeling overwhelmed about what's coming next. What should I be scared about? You know, you just see another interview by Mark Zuckerberg where he's talking about, hey, AI is going to replace entry-level and mid-level engineers. What should you be looking forward to, and how should you be preparing yourself for the up and coming age of AI? So that's something I write a lot about. Currently, what I'm doing at Fireworks AI, Fireworks AI is a startup which is one of the very few startups offering inference for DeepSeek v3. So if you have not tried DeepSeek v3 and you want to like try it out, definitely go check it out on Fireworks AI. It's one of the fastest inference platforms. So in a week that I've been here at Fireworks AI, we have just launched a pilot program. So I'm leading the startup and VC ecosystems here. So I've just launched a pilot program. So if you are a startup and you're working on building production level AI workloads, which is latency sensitive, please reach out to me. We're offering $10,000 of credits, which you can use on building your AI workloads. $10,000 is a lot of credits to use, by the way. Like for context, it's about 11 billion tokens that you might be using for inferencing. So it's a lot. So if you are a startup and working on any production level AI workloads, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you like get those credits. The other thing that I've been doing is I actively invest on startups, which is building responsible AI toolkits. And I have been an advisor for these startups which are building responsible AI toolkits. So I'm also actively involved with Hustle Funds as an investor. If you're curious to learn more about that, I'm happy to help. I've helped 3 startups grow their open source AI toolkit community to millions of users. So if you're curious about how do I grow my AI community, how do I get more AI developers to use, that is also something that I can help you with. So I'm not sure how the slides are working, but my name is Aishwarya Srinivasan, currently working at Fireworks, so I think you can look me up on LinkedIn, and yeah, happy to answer any questions.